How do you deal with the periods where you have to wait? Have you, my friend, learned to deal with it? Are you an active or a passive waiter? Are you a patient or an impatient waiter? These are all things that we are going to be looking at today. Waiting, my friend, can sometimes feel like an Olympic sport, like something that feels impossible, but yet you have to do it. Whether you like it or not, it is impossible for anyone to avoid having to wait at one point or the other. Waiting, my friend, is a part of life. It seems like we spend most of our lives waiting for one thing or the other. It may sometimes seem like you spend your time waiting on God for one thing or the other. If we all have to wait, then how do you deal with the waiting itself? Why does it seem so difficult to wait, even though you have done it enough times now that you should be used to it? From waiting in traffic, to waiting for someone, to waiting on God, you cannot escape waiting. So today, we are going to be looking at how you can learn to be a better waiter and how you can deal with the waiting time better. When you, my friend, are waiting on God, sometimes everything feels extra delayed. It seems like God is taking longer than usual, like He's intentionally delaying you. It can be easy to get frustrated or simply come to the place where you give up on waiting and adopt a whatever will be attitude. This, my friend, is not God's desire for you. However, when you, my friend, are waiting on God, you must learn to wait expectantly. You must learn to wait with an expectation of the thing that you desire. The truth is that waiting isn't easy, especially when you have been waiting a long time for what it is that you want. It can start to feel pointless. But that, my friend, is when you most need to remind yourself of the faithfulness of God. What other situations have you been in time past where you had to wait for God? How did He show up for you in those situations? How did He come through for you? When you, my friend, start to doubt that there is any point to your waiting, when you start to get frustrated by how long it seems to be taking, remember that the one you are waiting for has proven Himself faithful countless times. He is the one who remains faithful even when all else are unfaithful. You, my friend, must remind yourself of this faithfulness. Do not assume that you always remember. The psalmist in Psalms, the 103rd chapter, the 2nd verse says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits." He's speaking to his soul here, and he is reminding his soul that God is faithful and that He is good and that He certainly deserves His gratitude and His blessing. Why would he be talking to his soul in this manner? Because he understood that in the midst of the difficult times, in the midst of the waiting, especially when you have been waiting for a while, it starts to seem like all you can see is that problem in front of you. And whatever you focus on controls your reaction. It controls what you see and how you react. So, my friend, instead of saying that God is sovereign, even over that thing you are waiting for, it seems like you are only trying to figure things out. This, my friend, is why you need to remind yourself of God's faithfulness. Remind yourself of the times you have waited for Him in times past and how He showed up on such occasions. Remind yourself of how other people have successfully waited on Him. Remind yourself of all the times when you felt like this in times past and He managed to do something wonderful with that situation. Remind yourself, my friend, of His words. The Word of God is filled with people like you and me also waiting on God for different things. And there is a lot to learn from and be encouraged by. There is, my friend, a lot to understand when you see people who have also waited on God like you are and have managed to hold on to an expectant attitude in those seasons. It lets you know that it is possible to be expectant, to be full of faith, even though you have been waiting for a while. God, my friend, is sovereign. He is in charge of all that happens in your life. He oversees everything that happens around you. He is not uninformed or careless about you in any way. There is no reason to feel like you are the only one who is interested in that situation. You, my friend, have a God who cares about you and is committed to seeing the best happen to and for you. If there is a reason He is still keeping you waiting, it must be a very good one. In Romans, my friend, the 8th chapter, the 28th verse, it says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." He is working all things together for your good. It may not look like that right now. You may not be able to see how, but when you remember His faithfulness and His love for you, you should be able to rest in the knowledge that He is committed to giving you His best. His plans for you are of good, my friend, and not of evil. Though the waiting may be hard, you must learn to trust Him through it. It is okay to let God know when the waiting is hard. He wants you to be able to trust Him enough to tell Him. But He also wants you to know that you can trust Him even in those seasons. You can trust Him to still come through on His word. This, my friend, is not the time to become passive about the word and stand on the sidelines to see if He will work out what His word has said or not. This, my friend, is the time to get in there, declaring the word, believing Him to show up, praying, my friend, and acting in expectation. Obey the instructions He's given to you, even though it doesn't seem like it is having any effect at that moment. Hold, my friend, onto the word with expectation, for the one who has promised is faithful. The psalmist gives you a special insight into his own waiting process in Psalms the 27th chapter from the 13th to the 14th verse, where he says, "I would have fainted unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord." Let your confidence, my friend, be in the fact that you believe you will see God's goodness, for He is always looking for ways to be good to you. He is always looking for opportunities to be good to you. When your strength starts to fail, look to Him and He will strengthen your heart. You, my friend, are not alone in this journey. Whether you are waiting for the healing of a loved one, or your own healing, or you are waiting for a breakthrough in any area of your life, whether you are waiting on God for a word or waiting for a miracle, whether you are waiting on Him for a spouse or a child, or the salvation or restoration of a child or family member, strengthen your heart, my friend, in God, and allow Him to show His faithfulness one more time in that situation. He may not work it out when you would want or how you would want it, but as long as you continue to trust Him and depend on Him, He will work it out for sure. He will work it out the best way for you and everyone that is involved. This, my friend, is your confidence that the one who has promised is faithful and that He is good. If you don't give up, if you continue to wait patiently and in faith, taking steps when He asks you to, you, my friend, will surely see His goodness. May God, my friend, bless you.